Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for IDW Sonic the Hedgehog issue 54. When we last left our heroes, Surge had a quick little confrontation with Eggman that just sort of ended with her running away, after sort of intimidating him for a bit, and revealing that she's being haunted by memories of Starline. But she's not really letting that get her down too bad. She goes right to attacking Central City, straight into a conflict with Whisper, and as her dynamo cage starts to lose power, she starts absorbing the wisps, putting Whisper at a major disadvantage, until Sonic and Tails hear about this on the or they hear about it from Jewel, and they go to help out, shocked to see Surge alive, and are struggling a bit, until Bell and Kit see it on the news, or they're still struggling, but Bell and Kit back at Tails' lab see it on the news, and Kit, seeing Sonic as the same sort of Lord figure that he sort of saw in Surge, goes to help out, not accepting that he doesn't need to be useful to live. But right about to find out about the return of Surge. So with that said, let's dive right on into issue 54. Our cover here is a pretty basic one of Surge absorbing the Cyan Wisp, which I think was the only wisp that Whisper had left by the time Sonic and Tails intervened. But yeah, we have our story so far, with Ghost Starline taunting Surge. The reminder that Sonic's leg is still kind of broken here. Surge absorbing Whisper's powers, and Tails getting the memo from Jewel to go help out. Our roll call is Sonic, Tails, Kit, Whisper, and Surge. Just the right group to sort of blow everything up. The fight in Central City continues. And we see the fight is still going on, with Surge directing some lightning blasts towards Sonic and Tails. They both barely get out of the way. You can't stay up there forever, Flyboy. Get down here and let's finish this. And Tails is kind of on the same page as Surge there. I'm not sure we can keep this up. But Sonic tells him, as long as we can keep her attention on me and not the rest of the city, we've gotta. But Surge is gonna bring the fight to them with a spin dash. Fine. If you're too chicken, I'll come to you. And she spins off a bit of destroyed road, and with this sort of electric spin dash, hits Sonic and Tails. Mainly Tails, but Sonic's Tails lets go of Sonic there, and then hits Sonic right in the gut. And fucking over his injured leg. Ow. Don't give out on me now. And Surge just mocks him. Aw, you got a boo-boo. You won't have to worry about that much longer. And Whisper whistles all of a sudden, shocking Surge and Sonic, who just looks back, what? And Sonic calls Whisper, wait, don't. Because their plan, given that Whisper was sort of beat up, was to let Whisper get away. But Whisper is not leaving until she has her wisps back. But yeah, Whisper and Cyan ready to fight again. Whisper, or Cyan flies over to Sonic to let Sonic tap into its powers in a more natural way than what Surge is doing. Oh, okay. And I forget what Cyan does exactly. It's been a long time since I played Colors. It was probably my favorite modern Sonic game, but it's been a good decade. I didn't really pick up the Switch version. But Sonic feels that energy. I worked with Wisp a time or two. I gotta say, your fancy hat's pretty neat, but this is how it's really done. And with that energy, he's just bouncing all over the place. I'm gonna look up what exactly Cyan Wisp does. Just to remind myself of the exact it's the one where he turns into a laser and booms and warps all over the place. Yeah. Okay. And so yeah, as in his laser form, he's able to get a good number of hits on Surge. Tails calls out, "All right, Sonic!" But Surge uses the blue wisp abilities to create a number of cube shields to defend herself. Grr, thinks he's so smart. And she's watching the laser to try to find the exact spot to hit Sonic. There! Or no, not to hit him, but to grab him. Because I guess you can still grab him as in laser form, I suppose. Which knocks him out of it. Cute. She throws Sonic aside, but holds on to the Wisp, which is the worst outcome there. And Whisper calls out, Cyan! And Tails holds her back. No, you can't. As soon as you get close, she'll fry you. Unless we can drain her power, there's no stopping her. But Whisper is way too desperate to just let that go. I'm not giving up. And neither am I. Actually, wait here. I've got an idea. And Surge, absorbs Cyan into the dynamo cage. And Sonic is not happy with this. The Wisps. They're thinking, feeling creatures. You think I care? I am sick of your holier-than-thou grandstanding. Where do you get off telling me how to be? We're right back to the same sort of arguments that really defined issue 50, though without the sort of great depth there, the great sort of, it's not the point here. The point is not this big argument. But it still is, like, in the same vein as that issue. Because Sonic sees Tails signaling, and runs to him, telling Surge, hold that thought. Hey! And they dash to some building, So Sonic and Tails can chat here. You better have a plan, buddy, because I sure don't. And Tails tells him, hold her off here for a minute. Then meet me in the tools and appliances section downstairs. Is this like a hardware store or something? I guess they have hardware stores in Sonic's world, I suppose. And Surge calls out from outside. I'm talking to you, Hedgehog. Hold her off. Sure, easy, no problemo. And Surge barges into the room, laser eyes going, powered by Cyan. Don't you dare run away from me. And Sonic hides behind a wall. Gah! Not so brave now. Where's the swagger you had back at Eggman City? You gonna forgive me? Nah! And she trips on some... Oh, Sonic... I think it's actually... I'm not sure if it's either Sonic doing this intentionally or if the destruction causes a few, spare nuts and bolts to trip her up. I kind of like that. Surge's own hubris kind of getting the better of her. Literally causing the instrument of her own, not really, downfall, but her own setback. Yeah, I don't know. It's a nice concept. And again, I love the callbacks to issue 50, that conversation is just, the thing in her brain playing over and over again in her hatred for Sonic. And she gets back up. That's it. You're gonna fry. And Sonic slams a bucket on her head. No thanks. Ah! I may not be in top shape, but it's gonna take more than that to catch me. And he's headed towards the stairs to lure her down there. And he heads down there, and we see that there's some sort of a number of appliances and wires all hooked up. Sonic sees that too. Dang, you've been busy. Thanks. Quick, stand over there. She is really ticked off. All set for whatever you got. She comes down with the pink wisp form, which is, let me see what the pink wisp power is. The spikes. She just it's got spikes on, you can see the spikes on her hands as she's coming down all destructive but we see, Tails has those little wire, the clip things. I don't know what they're called, so I don't really get tech at all. What the? Sorry in advance, cause this is gonna hurt. And he puts them onto the spikes in the dynamo cage, zapping her. A shit ton of electricity. That's gonna leave a mark moment. And she just screams, ah! And Tails notes it's working. Powering everything in here will drain her power in no time. Oh, he's siphoning the energy of the dynamo cage to all the appliances. And Surge rages. You can't stop me. I'll show you power. And she just lets loose, I think overloading all of the appliances as Tails tells Sonic, uh-oh, get back! And with that, she does overload everything, but she's out. She's unconscious after all that. And Sonic approaches her. Let's get that thing off her before she comes to. And then he, like, rolls his ankle. That leg injury's still fucking him over. Dang it! And Tails goes to approach Surge. I've got it! And then at the worst possible moment for our heroes, Kit returns. Which is not what anyone needed right now. And it's time to see how the hell he's gonna react. As he runs straight to Surge. What? And Sonic tries to reason with Kit, which is not going to happen, because now that Surge is back, Kit's whole inferiority complex is putting him right under Surge. Kit, please, get that ring thing off her. We can't stop her. When she wakes up, who knows what'll happen? And yeah, Kit tells Sonic, you said she was gone. I thought she was. I saw her fall. But we see that familiar, like, pure pink eye that always sort of symbolizes Kit's rage. She's hurt. Bad. And Sonic tries to reason with him. She's hurting herself. Trying to... No. And Kit just, spawn the water tentacles, wham Sonic with them. It was you. You lied. You couldn't do it the first time. And you were going to finish what you started. Yeah, he's blind. He's blinded at this point. Well, I won't let you. And Sonic, prepares to defend himself from an attack. And Tails intervenes, using his tails to, spin the water around him. And Kit, even in his rage, showing his own, feelings of uselessness. Why would you bother with me? You already have him. Just the idea that anyone could genuinely care about him, to want to fight him and to want to protect him at the same time, is just shocking to Kit. I'm done. But Sonic tries to call out to Tails. Tails, no! And Tails holds him back. It's okay. I got it. But unfortunately, Surge is waking up right now, which is the worst possible timing. But Surge being awake makes Kit sort of change his focus. Surge! Please don't move. I'll get you out of here. And so yeah, with that, they're just gonna go for now. Surge is still kind of out of it, but Kit is not, and Sonic and Tails aren't really willing to hurt Kit right now. And Kit tells them one last thing. Don't follow us. And Kit leaves. So yeah, that went fucking swimmingly, I reckon. I'm sure there are ways that could have gone worse for our heroes, but I can't really think of any. But later, we cut back to Tails' lab, where Sonic and Tails are freeing Belle from a little bit of rubble that Kit trapped her under. Sweet sawdust, I'm sorry. But Sonic tells her, no worries, it happens. And Tails then turns to Sonic, are you sure your leg's okay? Yeah, it's getting better. You know I heal quick. Just not quick enough this time. So yeah, they're all sort of dealing with defeat. And we see that in Whisper in the next panel. Tails asks, we're going to follow them, right? Oh yeah. She doesn't get to run off with Whisper's friends like that. And Belle looks over and sees Whisper, crouched in the corner in despair. And this is actually Belle and Whisper's first meeting. Because Belle goes over to Whisper, hey, I'm Belle. Nice to meet you. I know your friend Tangle. She told me about you. If you need some help with your Wispon, I'm pretty good at fixing things. Would you let me take a look? And Whisper, in a show of, immediate trust for Belle, hands her the Wispon. Thank you. And Sonic tells her, we're gonna get your Wisp back. Promise. And then we cut back to Eggman and Orbot and Cubot, and we see Eggman is, repairing Metal Sonic, or just, upgrading Metal Sonic. I'm assuming still in the aftermath of the whole Eggperial City incident. As Orbot tells him, I've taken inventory like you asked, boss. The new Conch prototype was smashed. The E200 schematics were destroyed. Okay. The Conch from the Lost World stuff. and E200 schematics, which is interesting. Half of the spare Eggmobile drives are fried, and she stepped on Cubot's mint-condition Cyber Singer Mika 10-inch figurine. Rip Cubot. Rip Cubot losing his little figure. But Eggman just questions, but how? How did she do it? And Orbot missing the point with her foot. Which is a great line. The way she used the dynamo. She tossed my entire design on its head. And whatever tech the platypus stuffed in her is clearly having a radical effect. That's it. I must know. My plans can wait. If this pays off, it could change everything. Come, Metal. We're going hunting. So I'm not quite clear what Eggman's getting at here. Like, what about Starline's enhancement, so to speak, would play into the dynamo cage? Maybe Surge's natural electric powers are able to, like, heighten the strength of the dynamo cage in some way. I don't know. That's my best guess. But, you know, Eggman wants that knowledge. He wants more power at all times. And he's not terribly sympathetic to poor Cubot. And then we cut to Surge waking up. Like, for real this time. Not the little half-consciousness she was in at the store. And Kit tends to her, Surge! And Surge looks around. Our bunks. This is Starline space. Is she gonna be on board with that, like, memory of her personal hell? I didn't know where else to go. We'll be safe here. Oh, and this is the perfect place for Starline's ghost to show up. I even found some food and spare clothes. And the Starline ghost tells her, nowhere is safe. Not for you. And Surge is not able to handle Starline here. Ah! Get away! And Kit of course takes that the wrong way. I'm sorry, huh? Right back where you started. And like, you know, it's fascinating to me. I think I've talked in the past about the sort of chain of abuse that we see in the way that Surge sees Starline, how clear it is how terrified she is of him, both in her body language and the way he like looms over. I'm gonna talk about this in a second once we get through all four of these panels. Right back where you started. No. And Starline looms over her. I built your body. I shaped your mind. You will always be mine. And I love the cut here. Because like I was saying, the first three of these panels, Starline looms over Surge, showing the sort of, you know, the chain of abuse. How her treatment of Kit kind of draws itself from Starline's treatment of her. And I'm fascinated by the implications of that fourth panel. Of Kit literally taking the place of Starline. That like maybe Starline or like Kit's, you know, fucked up little affection for Surge is the answer for her. I don't know. Like my ideal ending for this whole arc has Kit leaving Surge. But maybe that's not the right answer. Maybe they're both so hurt that like they need to like find peace together, maybe? I don't know. And I also love this panel here of just like the blacked out background. Literally everything fades away except for Surge and Kit. As Kit tells her, I'm sorry I left you. I didn't know. Please don't be upset. And Surge treats him semi-decently here. Maybe a bit embarrassed by her outburst. Yeah, well, just don't do it again. And she like gives him a head pat. There's an almost genuine affection. There is a genuine affection in this last panel. Don't worry, Drippy. We're gonna make him pay. Next time, Surge and Kit reunited. And we see our next time cover. That sweet Surge sort of gone as like at the bottom of next issue's cover, which is set for I think the first Wednesday in December, which I believe is the 7th. But like in that cover, like Surge like gripping her head in like the throes of terror. On top of, you know, Eggman and Metal chasing Sonic and Tails. But yeah, that momentary peace with Surge and Kit is not going to last long, as Surge is going to continue her reign of terror and be traumatized some more, as is her way, as is sort of her fate. But anyway, this issue was great. This issue was so good. In, you know, the fight, both physical and the lingering of that emotional conflict between Sonic and Surge back in Imperial City, is still absolutely, you know, those themes are still absolutely in play here. With Surge, like, as that being a big part of Surge's hatred of Sonic at this point. And then, of course, everything goes to shit once Kit shows up. You know, in his you know, in the assumptions that he makes in how all of the affection that the gang showed him is sort of thrown out the window to continue the same sort of patterns of abuse that got him in this mess in the first place, that were so bad for him. And that's my one nervousness, my one bit of thing that makes me nervous with those 4 panels I pointed out earlier, is like the idea that Kit ignoring the way that Surge treats him is the solution for Surge doesn't really sit right with me. I mean, maybe it might be that like because a lot of the past few issues have been setting up this idea that, like, you know, contrasting the way that Sonic and the gang treats Kit to the way he was treated with Surge. Maybe it's saying that, like, you know, that could save Surge, but Kit deserves better than being used to save Surge. It's a possibility, and it's a more nuanced take than you normally see in, like, kids' comic books. But yeah, it's a real good time all around, in the way that this series pretty much always is. And yeah, I'm excited to see where we're going next, because, like, there's so many great pieces here, with Surge and her trauma, both directed at Starline and at Sonic, with Eggman stepping back into play, you know, no longer trying to retake his city, but now an active player in the world in the not quite the world domination game at the moment, but like working on gathering resources for world domination. And then and you know, Whisper has her desire for revenge against Surge for the absorbing of the Wisps. Sonic and the gang have their feelings towards Kit. There's all of these, you know, very, very messy emotional states that everyone is in right now. And you can tell that it's headed for a big explosion sometime in the near future. So with that said, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the issue in the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, you know, do whatever makes you happy, you know? And as always, your life is your own, okay? Bye!